Alrighty, hey everyone, welcome back. So today was a truly fabulous, marvelous, beautiful day for the markets. Everything bounced off the lows this morning, which we had obviously the futures going in the red last night, and then things bounced off of that. I think the market is kind of brushing off all the stuff that's happening between the United States and Iran right now. We'll see if that's going to be the case going forward here. We might have some developments in that. I'm not going to get into it, but it looks like they might be getting close to a deal there. We don't know, right? The big holdout right now was Iran wanted to only not get into nuclear, nuclear energy, nuclear weapons, whatever it is, for like 5 years, and Trump wanted 20 years. So we'll see if they can come to an agreement on that. I think the longer the better, but that's just me. We'll see what comes of it. And also, let's see here. What else we have here going on? We got some good news on, obviously, a couple of the companies here as well. We have some good news on Bitcoin. Companies still buying it like crazy. Obviously, the markets were up nicely today. Oil was coming down, so we'll get into all that. We do have a little update from, who is that? Gosh, I'm drawing a blank on it right now. Cango. We have a little update from Cango as well, and then we'll get into Q&A on top of it at that end. And then if you guys are interested, and if you guys want to see some pictures of the basement the way it is right now, I can pull those up for you guys. That's up to you. We'll leave that towards the end after the Q&A, okay? All right, let's get into it here. So first off, we got to go through this. Full disclosure below that, as always, if you guys would, and gals, would be so kind and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, helps me out, right? Helps out the channel, helps to get to other people as well. So I would appreciate if you guys could do that. And let's take a look at what's going on here today. So markets, as we saw today, did great for the most part, except for the S&P 500 was down just a little bit. Dow Jones, NASDAQ, and the Russell were up quite nicely today. Bitcoin also had a fabulous bounce here, was up 5.22% after being down yesterday approximately 3.19%. So that was nice to see. We did kind of get close to, what is that, the 100 simple day moving average here on the line, which is the red line here. So we battled with this before as well, right? We got here last time, which was back in March. Excuse me. I'm going to tickle my throat. But we got there in March, and we came back down here, kind of dipped a little bit lower, and then we're kind of bouncing back out of that low here. So it'd be nice if we can break above this. That would give us a nice, probably clear shot to get above 80, maybe 85,000 as well in the next couple of weeks, which would be fantastic here. There's some news also that the Clarity Act might be getting close to getting passed, which that would be great news as well. So a lot of good things happening here for us, regardless of what's going on in the Middle East right now. Okay. Bitcoin and AI data center companies did fantastic today. Some did better than others, but overall they were all, I think they were all like 5% up. And then some, except for with the exception of CORZ. CORZ was only up 2.13% here, but Applied was up 5% plus. BitTier was almost 5% with 4.5% there. Cango was up even almost 6%. Cypher being up 7.5% roughly. Cleanspark being up 7 also, and 7.4 I guess. CORZ, we talked about that one. Hive up being up 4.3, Hut 8 being up 5.5. IREN had a fantastic day today, 9.54% there. Keel took the spot here though. They did the best. They were up 9.81%. Maybe their redomiciliation into the United States is helping them out with investors possibly getting into them, which is great to see that they're bouncing back up here. Mara also was up nicely today, 8.6%. Nibius, 6.62, got to a new high here recent, $159. They did get some good news out today from analysts as well. We'll take a look at that shortly. Riot was up nice, 4.64%. Wolf was up 3.07. Wolf obviously reached a new 52-week high here Friday. It got to $20.21, came back down after that, and it actually closed a little higher here today on top of it. So it closed as a new 52-week high there. For them, the Bitcoin holding companies did pretty well together, with the exception of Phoenix. That one was down 11%. Small miners did pretty good here. Mawson is on a nice little tear here recently. It's up another 15% today after the news came out. When was this? Like a week and a half ago, of the Mawson board being changed there. The activist investors are getting their way kind of to basically rattle things up a little bit here for the betterment of investors, I believe there. So that's looking still much better there. Bitcoin miner ETFs here did pretty good. All of these guys being up 4 or 5% overall. The Ethereum holding companies did pretty good also, except for Game being down just a 0.5% there roughly. And then the other companies that we track here, Soluna for some reason was up huge today, 30.4%. Is there any news from them 3 days ago? I mean, there's no news on that one. I think that one's just getting maybe a little bit of manipulation happening there on one of these guys here, especially being up 30% on no news day. Who else? Oracle was even up today nicely, 12.69%. Then we had everybody else being up at least a little bit. Who else that did pretty good here? That's about it. Okay. So there's that overall. If we take a look at Bitcoin here for the month of April, let me refresh this because I forgot to do this before the live stream. Shame on me. April, okay, we're up 8.72% right now in Bitcoin. Pretty good, right? We were at 3% yesterday as it was, so we had a nice bounce today. That was nice to see here. Looking at the Bitcoin inflows and outflows on the ETF side of things here, we can see that on Friday we actually had outflows. Wow. Okay, so BlackRock sold out a bunch, 229 million. That gave us a negative there of 325 million. Or was that today? Today is April 13th. Oh, so it's actually today. So it wasn't BlackRock, it was Fidelity. Fidelity was selling. BlackRock hasn't reported yet. So if BlackRock is positive, we might be able to squeak out a positive another day there on that one. All right, some good news stories that we do have here. I believe this is where we want to go here. This is from the Kobesi letter. Global data center power demand is set to accelerate. Data center power demand is expected to grow 220+% from 2023 levels, or plus 905 terawatt hours to a record of 1350 terawatt hours by 2030, according to Goldman Sachs there. This is up from the previously expected plus 175%, driven by higher AI server shipment projections and increased deployment of more power-intensive servers for AI processing. The 60% of growth is expected to come from the U.S., up from 50% in prior estimates. As a result, U.S. data center power demand is set to reach 750 terawatt hours, followed by the rest of the world at 600 terawatt hours. Right, we're seeing that definitely happening here. We've seen some companies scale back their ambitions in Europe because of the high cost of electricity and everything else, which should bode well for the companies that we track here and that are in the United States. You know the names there: IREN, Cypher, TeraWolf, Nibius, BitDeer potentially as well, Cleanspark, Bitfarms, Riot, all those guys, right? All of those guys should benefit from this if this is the case here. Furthermore, the U.S. data center capacity is projected to rise 197% between 2025 and 2030 to a record 95 gigawatts there. The AI power boom is accelerating, and the beautiful thing is these companies that we track have power. Power is in high demand, and they got power, right? IREN's supposed to be energizing their 1.4 gigawatt site, Sweetwater 1 this month potentially. I saw something from the guys that track it. I'm drawing a blank on the names right now, but on X they were talking about the final, what was that? Substation being installed, it looks like, for it. So we're getting close. So maybe by the end of the month here, we'll get that installed and operational for them. And then they just got to build out at that site at that point. So that's great news for IREN there. Next, we have obviously Bitcoin jumping up over plus 4,000 in the past 12 hours and hit a high of 74,500, while Ethereum surged 7.5%, hitting 2,340. Over 300 million in crypto shorts were liquidated during this move. Hate to be the bears there. Over 100 billion has been added to the crypto market today, which is fabulous to see that. And we just need that to continue for a number of more days, right? Obviously, it's not going to be a straight shot up. We are going to go up and we're going to come back down. We're going to go back up. We're going to come back down. That's part of the market. I'm fine with that. I would rather prefer that than just a parabolic rise in, in price in Bitcoin or these stocks as well. I'd want a more gradual increase over time. Because as you all know, it's not about timing the market, it's time in the market, as they say. Okay, this is from Matthew Schultzer, CEO of Cleanspark. RM from Sprain Hill is saying, I'm receiving word that we're back. And Matthew says, same bad phone was ringing off the hook. So maybe they're having conversations with some hyperscalers there. Who knows? One can hope. And that they're getting close to a deal being signed there by Cleanspark. We'll see in due course on that one. But again, one of those things where you have to be patient. I've talked about this in the past as well, where it took IREN and other companies like TeraWolf, Hut 8, Cypher as well. It took them like over a year to get a deal inked with one of these companies here. So we're getting close. Well, we still have a ways to go, but I think we're getting close. Also for IREN here, Bernstein maintains both IREN price targets of $125 in buy rating as of April 13th. So that's good news. For them, I think we still could probably go higher than that as they can build out their 2 gigawatts in Sweetwater 1 and 2 combined. That is going to still be a huge catalyst for the stock going forward here. So keep an eye on that. Next here, strategy continues to buy like crazy. 13,927 Bitcoin for $1 billion at $71,902 per Bitcoin, and has achieved a Bitcoin yield of 5.6 year to date. And then as of Sunday, they hodl 780,897 Bitcoin acquired for $59.02 billion at an average cost of $75,577 per coin. Love them. I just love that they're doing it. I don't think they should be getting a huge premium on top of it, but I love that the fact that they're buying like crazy. And eventually, within the next couple of years, they'll probably get to 1 million Bitcoin, which is going to be a huge milestone for them to reach. They're trying to gobble up as much as they can, as it is. Okay. Next year, Goldman Sachs raises Nibius price target to $205. Goldman Sachs just raised its price target on Nibius from $160 to $205, maintaining a buy rating. So that's great news for Nibius shareholders there if you are in them. I think the stock is getting kind of expensive now. If you look at their revenues and their projected revenues and things like that, they are way ahead of everybody else as far as valuation is concerned right now. But they've also signed a bunch of deals, which is obviously what's driving the stock forward. So if we start seeing deals from some of the other ones like IREN, Cypher, Wolf, Cleanspark, and others as well, we could see a re-rating for those happening as well. But right now, I think it's, I mean, the stock is at, where's the stock? $140 some, $130 some. Where was Nibius here? I'm like 154. So, I mean, there's still upside for it, but it's much less than some of the other ones here that have not been re-rated or repriced properly for what they actually have here. Okay. So this is great that they're still jumping up on that one. And then S&P 500 fully recovers to 2026 losses, now positive for the year. V-shaped recovery, as we've talked about here, that we possibly might be seeing this, similar to what we saw obviously last year during the Trump tariffs scare, where everything bottomed out basically in the beginning of April, and then we had a V-shaped recovery. We're kind of seeing the same thing happening here right now, right? All the bad news around Iran and all that stuff, the war, everything else, that drove the stocks down, and finally the market's like, yeah, we're getting close to the end of this. This is it, basically. Let's go forward, and we're seeing that happening here. So we're up a little bit, which is still pretty good. So I think there's more to go on that, but we'll see. And then lastly, well, not last yet. Yeah, I think this is lastly on the news side of things here. Obviously, earnings season officially kicks off today. We have a lot of earnings coming up here. There's a lot of companies that are going to be reporting. We'll see how their numbers are coming in at, especially the software companies. I'm looking at those to see how they are doing compared to what the market is anticipating them to do because of AI. That'll be interesting to watch those guys. And then banks, things like that, Meta, Google, Alphabet, all of those guys. There's a lot of those going to be reporting here the week of April 29th or the week of April 27th on Wednesday, April 29th there. We got quite a few energy stocks reporting also on the end of, or the beginning of May here, May 1st. There's a lot of stuff happening here. So we'll keep an eye and see what's going on with the markets and the revenues, things like that. Okay. Last but not least here, we'll talk quickly about Cango. Today, they released a press release, basically. So Cango's HPC and AI inference subsidiary, EcoHash, begins commercial operations. To be honest with you guys, I'm not a big fan of that name. EcoHash reminds me of, well, hash rate, excuse me, for Bitcoin mining. And eco sounds like friendly hash rate mining to me. So I don't know if that name, I think there's probably a better name for what they're trying to do here with AI and data centers and things like that. But EcoHash just has that connotation to me where it's tied to Bitcoin here still. Okay, that's just my take on it. But today they announced the launch of the official digital portal for its subsidiary, EcoHash Technologies LLC. It is accessible on their website, EcoHash. The platform serves as the primary interface for EcoHash's high-performance computing and AI inference operations. The site is designed to streamline strategic engagement with two key audiences: AI developers seeking low latency and near-source compute, and energy-intensive compute operations during modular pathways, pursuing modular pathways to infrastructure diversification there. Okay, kind of similar to what I think Hive is kind of doing the same thing a little bit in the same regard there as well. But Goldman Sachs research forecasts that U.S. data centers power demand is going to obviously get much higher here. We saw that from another company as well, that they're all targeting much higher demand for terawatt hours going forward. But Cango is dedicating a space at its own 50 megawatt Georgia mining facility to its initiative. So this is the only site that they have here that they own, the 50 megawatt site, which was priorly, or might be still being used for Bitcoin mining, but looks like they're going to be transitioning that over here. So by utilizing the facility's existing infrastructure and energy access, the site will operate full series container models as living showroom. The facility is designed not only to demonstrate real-world performance across varying thermal and power configurations, but also to serve as a strategic proof of concept hub for industry collaborators across the digital infrastructure and mining ecosystem. Okay, so that's fine. So it seems to me like I could be wrong on this, but the way I understand it is they're going to be putting these things into basically modular. They're called, gosh, they're not trailers, but they're kind of like trailers. There's a term for it, but I'm drawing a blank on the term right now. But you guys know what I mean, where it's just basically like a, oh gosh, like a cargo trailer, basically outfitted with servers and power and all that stuff that they need for it at that point, so you can scale relatively quickly without having to build out a huge infrastructure shell for it. Okay, and so I think that's the way that they're going to be going here. By showcasing the commercial viability of these plug-and-play modules, Cango aims to invite global partners to integrate with EcoHash network. This collaborative approach aims to build robust, globally distributed AI power grid, replicating the Georgia model across high potential sites, both within and beyond. Both within and beyond Cango's current network. Okay, so that's great that they're getting into it here. We'll see how they do going forward. We've obviously seen them sell a lot of Bitcoin here recently to pay off debt and have some cash on hand as well to possibly do this. And we'll see how well they can perform on this, how well they can execute. This will all be, I'm guessing, within the next year. I doubt they're going to get this done up and running here within the next 3 months. Things take time. So I'm guessing within the next year, we probably should see some information on this progressing as they continue to build this out. Okay, but here's the EcoHash website. Again, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the name there. I think there could have been a better name for it. Maybe if they use AI hash or AI compute or something, AI, something, I don't know. But this is their website here. Pretty nice website overall. I mean, we're not here to, so containers, right? They're talking about doing these kind of containers there, which obviously does bode well for quick build out potentially for these things. The only thing is, how well will it be accepted by industry, giants, right? A lot of these guys like to have things in a big data center where they have access to, everything's connected relatively closely to each other quickly. Links are obviously done quickly within the different servers and things like that. It's all within one shell instead of having it to be between 30, 40, 50 shells, whatever it might be. But it could still work out pretty well. I'm not an expert on this, so I'm just going by what I've read here in the past. Right? If you can have the latency pretty close to where they are close together in a regular large data center, maybe that'll work. But that does look pretty cool though. And it's definitely a quick way to do it. So we'll see how well this plays out for them. Let's see, meet EcoHash, EcoLink. Okay, so it's all just basically one website here on one page here about them. Yeah, it's a single page website more or less. Not much else to go over there. All right, so as far as the companies here, we've talked about, or at least I've talked about many, many times in the past here, that the time to be buying in is obviously when things are not doing that great. We've covered all these guys here as far as where are they now, where are they going, right? Should you be getting into these guys here? So we'll just kind of quickly go over this, and I'll give you guys my quick thoughts on every single company here really quick here, right? To see if you guys are positioned properly, at least in my terms, my opinions. And then we'll get into Q&A here, and then if you guys want to see some pictures of the basement, I'll show you some pictures. All right, but let's get into it here. So Applied Digital is obviously doing very, very well here recently. They have a nice revenue growth here going forward for them. They're building out obviously a lot of sites. So I think this is one that you probably would want to have in your basket of AI data center plays, right? Applied Digital, I think, is one of them. BitDeer has also done pretty well overall. They are getting into AI here recently. They've fumbled here a little bit in, I would say, in the last month or so, but the stock actually has rebounded because, well, in spite of it. But we do have some concerns with them. They have a lawsuit in their Ohio site with their neighbor for the site that they're trying to build out, which is, I think, 570 megawatts. They were supposed to use that for AI. So we got to get past that. I think once we get past that and it's clarity there, the stock will do much better here. They have a lot of growth potential. They have a lot of megawatts as well that they're building out. They're designing and manufacturing their own ASIC machines for Bitcoin mining. So, I mean, they have a lot of growth here. Their revenues have been going up quite nicely because of that as well. So they have a lot of potential here. Other downside for them is obviously not based in the United States here. I think that could be a detriment to that stock here. But I think there's a lot of potential here for them if they can prove to investors that they are on the right path here. Okay, Applied Digital has also lawsuits out there, and we talked about it last week where in their quarterly results, we saw exuberant stock-based compensation. Not a big fan of that, as you guys know. But other than that, the company is doing very well there. All right. Cango, as you guys know, is for me a no-go right now. Asset light, right? They have 50 megawatts as it is. This is one of those that's very, very risky in my opinion. You can put a little bit into it to maybe have high risk, high reward potentially with this one if they can actually execute on their growth going forward. All right, so there's a quick update on that one. Cypher, I think Cypher is a pretty safe bet here. Cypher's definitely got a lot of megawatts also in their pipeline that they're building out. They got deals already. I think this is a good one that's going to be pretty good value here to get into. If you haven't gotten into it much lower here in the last couple of weeks, I think this is one that you probably want to get into as well. Cleanspark, late to the party for AI, but they did a fantastic job building out their Bitcoin mining business, right? They came in late to the party. They came in at, I think it was 2021 into 2022 when they got into it, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. But they came out basically out of nowhere and became one of the top biggest Bitcoin miners here. They are also transitioning here to AI here as of September of last year. And in that regard, I think if they set their minds up for success, which they've obviously done with Bitcoin here, I think they can do the same thing in the AI space. They do have a lot of sites, much smaller sites though than some of the bigger guys here. That might be a benefit to them, may not be, depending on the sites and where the locations are, and do they have the space to build out, right? All that stuff plays into it here. But they also have a pretty nice pipeline of megawatts for them. They have a couple of nice sites in Atlanta also, and then they also bought some sites here recently in Texas. So I think they have potential. The only thing is they need to prove to the market that they can get deals with hyperscalers or something like that for one of their sites or two of their sites. If they can do that, the stock will get re-rated at this point. I think this one is extremely undervalued right now as it is. That's just my opinion, my thoughts on it, not financial advice, right? But I think this is one of those ones that can do a very quick 2 to 3x here when they do get a deal or something like that, okay? CORZ Scientific, as you guys know, has had a rough history, being a Bitcoin miner and hosting company as well for Bitcoin mining companies. Went into bankruptcy, got out of bankruptcy, got a deal with CoreWeave, and that kind of rescued the company there. They fell behind a little bit on their build-outs for CoreWeave, so we're expecting revenues to start flowing in at the end of 2025. That hasn't happened here. We're looking to have that possibly happen in this current quarter, potentially, right? We're hoping that that's going to be the case here. They also have a lot of megawatts and things like that they could possibly turn into AI data centers. And they were kind of held back a little bit with the CoreWeave buyout offer there, which they couldn't, no potential customers would talk to them during that time because if CoreWeave bought them out, they kind of pretty much knew that CoreWeave would use up all the megawatts that they had for themselves. But now that that deal fell through, they can now start talking to hyperscalers and customers and whatnot. So this is another one that's definitely, I think, a pretty good one to have, right? Another one that's worth considering there. Hive here. Hive has done a fantastic job growing their Bitcoin mining side of the business here in the last year, I would say. And they've also transitioned over to AI as well. With them, they are all about not being in the United States basically right now, right? All their operations are like Canada, Greenland, I believe, down in Paraguay as well, right? So they're kind of out in other countries, not in the United States. I've said this before. I love their growth here recently. Their operations have definitely gotten much, much better as well. They're one of the OGs here in this space when it comes to Bitcoin mining. I mean, they've been public since 2017. They are getting into AI as well. Smaller sites though, but they're looking to have for Canada, right, to be like a Canadian domestic AI compute player there, which could be actually a benefit to them because if there's not a lot of players in that space, a lot of players are in the United States here, that could be a benefit to them there. Also in Paraguay, they're doing the same thing. So they could become one of those kind of niche markets. I don't really want to say niche markets, but it's more tied to other countries other than the United States. And then maybe that might work out for them. The only discount that I can give to them is not being positioned in the United States without having any operations. Other than being, I think, domiciled here right now, or at least for reporting purposes, they're in the United States, okay? So there's some possible growth for this one. This one I would put down like in a tier 2, tier 3 of these guys here compared to some of the other ones, which are more tier 1 players here, okay? Hut 8 also has done a fantastic job in the last, I would say, year and a half here. They got a deal with Meta. They have a huge megawatt pipeline as well. They're even looking to do a data center here in my home state here, about 30 minutes away from me, roughly. Which I know that location very well. I used to work in that area, but they're doing all the right things, I think, as well. They offloaded their Bitcoin mining business onto American Bitcoin side of things here, It does make things a little bit messy because they still own a large portion of it, the majority portion of it there. They still have a pretty sizable hodl there as well, 10,278. So they have cash and everything else that they can pull on it if they wanted to at this point. So this is another one that kind of watch. And this one's done very, very well here, regardless of where they were in the past and the current state where they are. They've done a fantastic job here. So that's another one I would watch as well. IREN, obviously you guys know IREN is one of the best ones here. We're looking at approximately 4 billion in annual run rate here by the end of this year, potentially, once everything gets energized and plugged in for the 150,000 GPUs that they have there. Megawatt pipeline is huge, right? They have huge sites here in Oklahoma, which is 1.6 gigawatts, and also in Texas, where they have the Sweetwater site, which is 1.4 gigawatts and 600 megawatts combined. That gives them 2 gigawatts there. They have a huge pipeline there. Not many companies have that here. I think this is definitely an advantage for them. And we're just waiting right now on a deal to get announced because they are way undervalued from where they probably should be here, right? They should be at least 2 to 3x higher from where they are right now based on what they're projecting here going forward. So I think this is definitely like one of the top, I would say top three companies to possibly own in this space here if you haven't gotten into it yet, okay? Not financial advice, just my feel on. All right, next we got Keel here really quick as well. Keel, formerly Bitfarms, as you guys know, has basically stated that they are getting out of Bitcoin mining completely, going into AI data centers full on stop, right? They are working on their Washington site, which is 18 megawatts right now. That is supposed to be hopefully completed by the end of this year. If that first quarter of 2027 there, that's kind of like their little pilot site, I guess you could say. And then they have plenty of build out potential in Pennsylvania as well. This is another one of those that's, you're basically betting on the management there to execute properly and get the deals that they need to get there. And I'm giving Ben, obviously, the benefit of the doubt that he can. He's done a fantastic job here the last, I would say, year and a half or so in steering the company, the ship, now Keel, into the proper direction of where it's supposed to go. They got out of Paraguay and in Latin America. And they're moving more into the United States here, which I think is the right move there. They've also redomiciled here in the United States here just 2 weeks ago or so. That's a great move for them. And they do have megawatts available for them as well. And one of the bright sites is the Pennsylvania sites that they have there. They do have potential to some good megawatts there as well. So this is, I think, a little bit maybe longer term play unless something happens much faster for them. But I think this is one that's kind of pretty cheap right now as it is. This is one that you may want to hold on to or get into, hold on to it for probably a year to 2 years, if not more. All right. So there's that one. Then we got Mara here. Mara has also not been the best performer when it comes to Bitcoin mining or Bitcoin hodl. Or they've been buying Bitcoin. You guys know my stance on Mara. Not a big fan of some of the things that they have done there. They are transitioning over into AI data centers as well. They partner with, what's it called? I'm trying to blank on Star North. I think it's Star North, something like that, to help them build out data centers that they have on their sites. It would be joint ventures at that point. I'm not a big fan of that, but I think getting, AI customers for that and things like that would be great for the stock here. And the stock has done abysmally in the last, I would say, 2 to 3 years. In the past, it was the king in Bitcoin mining. It fell down to being the jester, I guess it would be jester, something like that, in reference to hierarchy when it comes to kingdoms. So they've definitely fallen off from where they were. They have a lot of megawatts. They have a lot of cash. Well, they have a lot of Bitcoin value, but they also have a lot of debt there. This is one of those that's, for me at least, a maybe iffy, questionable one to see if they can execute. In the past, they've been kind of all over the place when it comes to Bitcoin mining, getting into too many things, not focusing much. And I think that kind of hurt them in the past there. Also, buying Bitcoin was not a great move there. So can the management actually execute on this? That is yet to be seen here. If we see that at that point, that might point us to a better direction as far as where they should go. All right, next here, Nibius. You guys know Nibius. Nibius has been killing it here recently. They've been doing a fantastic job growing, getting customers, getting deals, all of that stuff. They've been doing phenomenal work. They've been getting sites as well. This is definitely one that I think you should own if you don't own it already. It is high right now in the price, right? It's $154. We got analysts saying $210, something like that for the high side of things. That's not much growth there. So I would possibly wait on any pullback that you can, unless this thing continues to go up higher. They continue to get up more deals, more sites. All of those things would probably drive the stock up even higher beyond the 210 mark that we could see them at. So this is one of those that could definitely do well here. But currently, I think it's just being valued way higher than any of these other guys here comparatively. Next, Riot. Riot also has fumbled in the last couple of years. As you recall, they tried buying Bitfarms out. That didn't go well for them. They actually lost money on that, I believe, on that deal when they started selling shares at much lower prices than where they were buying it. So that was not a great move there. Their operations in the past have not been great. They've run into issues with some of their sites because of winter storms, whatnot. So this one, I mean, they got a deal with AMD here. It's a smaller deal, but they still got a deal. They, excuse me, they do have nice sites to build out potentially into AI. It's just a matter of can they execute on this, can they get deals and things like that. And so this one is also one of those ones that's kind of questionable for me right now as it is, right? Similar to tomorrow. If they can provide execution, show execution, and deliver on the execution, then that changes the narrative here going forward here. But right now, this one is a little bit more questionable to me, at least to me. You guys may think differently, which is fine, but this is just kind of where I'm seeing them right now. And then next year or last year, we got TeraWulf. TeraWulf also has done a fantastic job here. They were like one of the first ones to transition quickly over into AI. They also had some good backing from Stanley Druckenmiller and company there. That helped them out get deals with Core, I think it's Core 42. Then they ended up getting deals with Anthropic, I believe it was, and somebody else there. I'm drawing a blank on the other company there. But they've been pretty... they've been like one of the early ones to get deals there other than Core Scientific getting a deal with CoreWeave. They were the second ones, I believe, to get a deal with a big customer there. Stock right now is at 1945 here. They probably will go up higher from that. Let's see, where are the analysts pointing them at to? Analysts are saying $37, so still basically a double roughly from where they are right now. The big thing for them will also be getting more sites, getting more deals. All of that stuff will be important there. And on the current deals that they have, if they can show that they executed on those build-outs on time or faster than on time and not having delays, I think that is going to bode well for the stock there going forward. It will show that the management and the team there can execute on all this stuff here, which should re-rate the stock there even further and higher potentially as well. All right. So there's that. There's all my thoughts on all of these guys here. I think a majority of these companies are a pretty good bet to get into. If you were able to get into a much lower pricing, that was probably preferred. I've been telling you guys to, dollar cost average in if you can. I wish I would have been able to listen to my own advice, but pulling out this basement thing definitely cost me here a little bit. But I'm still happy with the positions that I do have here, but I would have liked to have gotten into some of more of these guys here, especially when they were coming down here in price. But that's on me, right? You can't win them all, which is okay. All right, that's it. So let's get into Q&A here. And then if you guys want to see the pictures on the basement here so far, what's done, we'll get into that as well if you guys want. Otherwise, we'll call it a day here. Okay, so let's see here. Where do I want to go? I want to go to Q&A. And then you guys can also tell me if you guys agree or disagree with me on this stuff or anything else, as a matter of fact. Okay, let me see. Let me scroll up on the questions, comments, and we'll go from there. A lot of the stuff already commented on during the pre-show in the comments there. Let's see, Daryl put out a good one here. A lot of hype around the Clarity Act getting passed soon. Should help the whole space in the next few months. That would be great if it does get passed. We do need it to get passed before the midterms. If we don't get a Republican House and Senate, then it's going to be really tough to possibly pass that. What else do we have here? This one was interesting also from John. IREN advertising for electrical engineers for work in Australia. Cat's out of the bag per Yahoo Finance, which is kind of nice. So they're going to be multinational or multi different countries as well. That's going to be interesting to watch there, how that plays out. Let's see. Neville says, what a Monday. This market is not rational at all. To be honest, I think Trump got people manipulating the markets, but it's all good if it works out in the end. Yeah, who knows? I mean, it is kind of weird. Excuse me. Pete says, I hear you are no longer a basement dweller, but a proud resident of a lower level suite. I like the sound of that. Instead of a basement, we call it a lower level suite. It is a lower level suite. It is. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting close to getting that done. John says, the greatest market rally off the lows in 40 years per CNBC. You have a great group that bottom fished, making bigly bucks. That's awesome to hear. Love hearing that from you guys. Right, it's tough to pick the bottoms and the tops. That's why I like to just be in the markets for a long period of time, buy the dips, and hold on to these things, especially companies that are going to be in high demand, right? AI, compute, megawatts are going to be in high demand here for the next 5 to 10 years, possibly even beyond that. unless we figure out fusion or we get into space with a lot of the stuff here. So that's going to change here, right? Getting those things, and I think you'll be doing very, very well there. All right, what else we got here? All right, Bevneet asks, how much does Wolf have in the tank still? I am thinking of buying. They do have still a lot of megawatts that they're going to be building out. They bought a couple sites here last year or within the last 6 months or so. So they're still in build out mode right now. John says, bears are only now capitulating. We have a long way to go higher, I think, or yeah, to go higher. Let's see. John says, capitulating, shorts are burning. Yeah, but the shorts can always, knock us down a little bit here, right? They're not completely out of power. John says, your soccer table is called a foosball table. Big time tournament plays on these. You must have 6,000 square feet. No, I don't have 6,000 square feet. You're right. It is a foosball table. I was thinking, I was getting foosball table and the other one, which is the air hockey. Air hockey. I was getting those two mixed up. So yeah, it is a foosball table. It's a small one, but it's it's not a professional one or anything like that. It's for the kids. The kids play it. I play with them sometimes as well. It's a bunch of fun. All right, BA2, all the data center build-outs, but a really aggressive battle across the U.S. to stop or significantly restrict new data centers. Yes, there is. I saw that as well. I think this may be good for the miners. They have power, land, etc. Yeah, they already have all that stuff in place here. So all you got to do is sign a contract, build it out, and you're good to go on that one. Let's see. Vic says, congrats on 50K plus portfolio day. Let's hope this continues this week. Yeah, that'd be great. Today was definitely a good day in the markets. Everything obviously helped us out here quite nicely. Let's see. Rob, has Bernstein said anything about the forecast for Keel share price? I have not seen anything on that. I could have missed it. If you guys have seen something, let me know. BA2, any news for CORZ if the new CoreWeave deal will trickle down? Yeah, I mean, CoreWeave has obviously gotten quite a few deals here recently. They will need to partner with people like Core Scientific, like possibly, TeraWolf and Cypher and IREN, all those guys. I don't know if they're going to go with Nibius. I think Nibius is too much of a competitor to them, so I think they might look for those guys possibly. All right, let's see. John Kurtz says S&P 500 was up 1% today, and IREN above the 50-day moving average, which is great. John says, Seb the Man gets a thumbs up. Let's go. I appreciate that. XB Productions there. As always, thanks for the daily stream. Very helpful to keep up with the news. You're very welcome. Thank you for coming in. Let's see. LB says, Bittier has the most potential in my opinion. They do have a lot of potential, right? Can they just not mess it up? That's the big question there. But yeah, they do have a lot of potential. I agree with you there. And when they were really, really low, I wish I had cash to kind of buy into them. I mean, they've done pretty well here in the last 2 to 3 weeks. Bouncing off the bottom there, but I wish I would have been able to buy a little bit more of that, or buy into that one actually. Adam Keel, 600 million shares, 35% increase every year, and more dilution with the next pump. Environmental lawsuits and permits stalled for 5 months now, maybe never, and they're barely even started. That's the problem, right? So that's why I said you're looking at probably a year to 2 years on that one to build out fully for what they possibly could have. So that one is a longer term play in that regard. Let's see. I can't pronounce that. Abhilash. I'm going to say Sastry. I'm just going to call you Sastry. I'm sorry. When will IREN start earning money in Microsoft deal? Is it end of 2026 for IREN financial year or December 2026? I think it is going to be happening here. When do they sign a deal? I think it's going to be probably RQ3, Q4. I believe that's going to be happening there because there's maybe even faster because they do have. I think they're doing that in Childress, not in Sweetwater. So Childress is already built out, a lot of that stuff. So it might be a little bit faster to build out. I would say at the earliest we could possibly see that would be maybe end of Q2, early Q3, I think. Adam says, Ben Cohen predictions have been spot on. He predicted 70% down from the top. So Bitcoin 40,000 by the end of the year. Saving power over here. Maybe, maybe not. Hard to tell, right? Millig says Rock Creek Data Center construction is about to begin in Fort Worth, about 8 minutes away from where I live. Okay. Another one about 20 minutes north of me. Sign of the times, better us than China. I would agree with you there. And, hopefully anybody that lives close to these data centers gets compensated pretty well for that, especially if the companies are buying up the sites and things like that, the land there. those things can be kind of loud. They're much better than what they were in the past here, but it's still loud. And right, I want people to have peace when they're living out in the country. At least I would want it. I don't think I would want to live next to a data center. I love data centers, but I don't know if I want to live next to one. Let's see, spin, second serve. Wolf, did you do? Yes, I did already go over that one. That was the last one that we did there. But I meant price target for Wolf end of year. Do you think they can still get more deals this year? Is the current price target good to buy in? At the current price, I think where they're at, I think it is a pretty good price. They're still under from where the analysts are looking at. And if they get more deals, which they have obviously done a pretty good job of getting deals here the last, I would say, year and a half, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't get more deals. The only reason I would say they probably can't, well, might have a harder time getting deals if they don't execute well on the build outs that they're currently building out, right? If companies see that they're struggling to build those out in time or something like that, then we might see some issues there. But so far, they've been doing really, really well. All right, BT2 says, if Bitcoin runs over 250,000, will the miners stay focused on HPC or jump back into mining BTC? I think they're going to stay focused on on AI. The reason I say that because if Bitcoin goes to 250,000, the network hash is going to continue to increase. I mean, we're pretty much half of where we were last year in revenues, maybe even less than that for these guys. So as the network hash continues to increase, it's always that battle there. Some of these guys can help out the grid with Bitcoin mining, where they can shut that part of the business off relatively quickly, especially if the grid requires it. So that's kind of a benefit to the grid and being probably like a good steward of the community and the city or the state that you live in. So that might be a way that they can say to the constituents there, hey, we're here to help out also. We're not just here to, pillage all of the resources. So that might be a benefit to them. There's going to be some that are going to just go straight to AI. Some will be kind of, whether it's 25% Bitcoin mining and 75% AI or 50-50, whatever it might be, where this is all still relatively early and we really don't know how it's going to play out. But somewhere, I think there's going to be something like that. All right. Let's see. I need to ask, Wolf or BitDeer? BitDeer has more megawatt potential than Wolf. BitDeer also has some issues legally that they got to deal with right now. If they can get past those, I would say maybe BitDeer here. Other than that, I would say Wolf, and if Wolf gets more deals or something like that, then that would be more Wolf in that regard. It's a tough one on that one. All right, we're all cut up here. Let me see here. Let me see if I can pull quickly. I'll show you guys the basement as it is right now because some of you guys have been asking about it. Let me see photos. I want to go there. All right. I think this will work. All right, so I'll show you guys the studio and what it looks like from the doorway side of things here, and then we'll get into the other ones really quick as well. So there's the studio right now. The black wall is where I'm facing right now. I got the camera there, and you can see that. I still got to put the door in. That's the bathroom going to be to the left-hand side. Okay, so there's that one. Then we have this portion of the basement here. The pool table came in today. Kids are excited. I'm excited about that. That looks great. You can see how that's set up. That's kind of showing basically the 3/4 of the basement, more or less. There's a foosball table, which you guys can see in the background there. As you can see, I still got to do the trim on the walls there. But overall, we're getting pretty close here. Here's kind of like a more 90% view of it. To the left, you're going to see where the bar is going to be area there, and you can see the studio there as well. And I think this is a close-up of the pool table. And then there's stairs actually where that wallpaper is. To the right of it, there's actually stairs going up to the main floor. And then this is the opposite side here. So for that wall there where you got the electrical and the communications box, I got to get a big painting ordered for that to cover that up. I don't want to put any doors on it. I want a pretty easy access to it. I think the easiest thing to do is get a 50-inch by 50-inch painting put on there. Somebody can take it off, put it back on. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? That's at least the plan there, at least right now. So there it is. There's the basement. Let me know what you guys think. Let's see. I want to go back here. Adam says, I really appreciate you and your channel. I appreciate you guys as well. Thank you so much for coming in here. Let's see. B82 says, Seb, love your new space. Have you done much of the work yourself? I did. The only thing I didn't do was the drywall portion, which that would have taken me like 3 months to do. The guys came in, did it in basically a week. They're just pros at it. They've dunked it out quickly. They got it done, and it looks fantastic. I would have struggled at that. Drywall, other than that, studs, I put it up myself. Insulation I did myself. I did some electrical. I had also electrical contractor come in, help me out, and do a lot of the work there. And then I had a plumber come in, help me out with that as well, because I could have done it, but again, would have taken me forever to get it done. Everything else, painting, floors, lighting, all that stuff, I pretty much installed myself. Yeah, everything, yeah, that's kind of more or less. So I would say I've done 75% of it, more or less, which saved me a huge amount, because when I got a quote for doing the basement, it would have been like over $100,000. I was like, I'm not paying $100,000 to do a basement. If I can do it in half the cost, I'll do it, but not $100,000 at that point. So, yeah, it's been a fun project. It's been a tough project as well. My body feels it every once in a while when I go a little too hard on the work there, but I get satisfaction out of it, knowing that I did something with my hands, and my sweat, tears, and blood went into it. I get satisfaction out of that, knowing that I was able to do that for my family. So, yeah, it was fun though. We're getting close though. And then Rob asked, Seb, how many days did it take to do the drywalls and the leveling of the floor? So the leveling of the floor, I didn't level the floor in the basement. It's pretty good, but it's not like 100% level. There are spots where you can feel a little bit of a bump, but it's not massive. And as far as the drywall, it took the guys basically a week to do. They came in on a Wednesday, got going, and they finished up on Tuesday or Wednesday morning. I think they finished up. So it's basically about a week. All right. Adam says, wow, amazing cave you have there. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've lived in this house now for 10 years, going on 11 years, and it's one of my things that I've wanted to do for a long time. Been toying around with the ideas as how to get it set up. It's not an easy space to figure out how do you want to do things, because it's so long. The main portion of the basement is like 50 feet long, and it's pretty narrow. It's only 15 or 14 feet wide. So it's not very wide where you can, do a lot of things and do stuff. But the way we worked it out right now, the way it's laid out, I think is a great layout for it. It's the only thing we could have done. Let's see, BD2 says you have done good work. Great place to make memories with family. Yeah, I mean, we're already enjoying the projector there, watching family movies on Friday nights and Saturday nights, which is freaking fantastic. We play games and things like that. So yeah, it's going to be a fun time. A lot of great memories for sure. We're going to have parties down here. It's going to be fun. All right, we got one more. Let's see here. Dan says, I sold all of my Mara at 1035 and bought 700 shares of MicroStrategy at 132. Did I make a horrible decision or not? Let's see. Where's Mara at right now? Mara is at 1036, and you sold it at 1035. So, I mean, you sold it. Well, you didn't really sell at the bottom there. If you sold at the bottom, it would have been 666 on that one. Looking at here right now in the markets. MicroStrategy, you bought in, what did you say you bought in? Let me see here. 132. So that's kind of, well, today it looks like. So you sold out of Mara today and you got into MicroStrategy there. I don't know. That's going to be your call, right? The big thing is, will MicroStrategy get a bigger premium on their MNAV than they have been here at least the last 2 years, I would say. And I don't know if that's going to be the case here. I think there's so many more on-ramps for Bitcoin right now that maybe MicroStrategy does not get that huge premium. Whereas Mara, I think Mara, if they execute well on their AI build out with, what's that company there? Star North, I think it is. They might actually do very well going forward here. I think they are undervalued. They weren't really valued on their Bitcoin hodl anyways, or their operations. They were just languishing kind of in the ether there in this space for a while here. And maybe now that they've transitioned into AI, they've let go of 15% of the workforce as well. So they're definitely kind of focusing more on AI than Bitcoin side of things. They also sold Bitcoin here to pay off the debt. I thought that was a mistake. They could have waited a little bit longer, but maybe maybe they needed to do that in order to have a more favorable opinion of them in the markets. Maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, I think Mara, might do better than MicroStrategy. That's my opinion. Not financial advice, but that's kind of what I'm thinking here, at least right now, because they are getting into AI. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. If we got any more questions, I think that's it. Oh, no, we got one more. Let's see, Spin Second Serve says, outstanding man cave. I'm so happy for you. You deserve it. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, as you guys know, for the past 4 or 5 years, I've been plowing everything that I could into the markets here. And I'm finally starting to kind of reap the rewards of it a little bit now. It was time. Spin Second Serve says, I bought 4,000 Wolf today, like S show. Not sure what like Seb show. I think you mean like Seb show. I think maybe I'm wrong, but I appreciate that and congrats there. M says Mara 666 low makes sense. Yeah, they haven't been the best stewards of the shareholders there, I think, in the last couple of years. BTC says, good day. Looking forward to tomorrow. So am I. All right, we're going to call it a day. I've come to all your guys' questions here. I hope you guys have a fantastic Tuesday and we get another nice little rally in these things. That would be fantastic to see. I'd love for you guys to be all millionaires here in the next year, right? And well, obviously, so would I be, right? So patience. Like I keep saying, patience. Buy in the dips if you can. Not financial advice as always, but pretty darn good advice. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you all. Hope you guys have a great Tuesday as well.